Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's episode is called The Silent Pain Behind a Smile. It's a conversation about the kind of hurt that hides in plain sight, at work, at family dinners, on the group chat, even in the most joyful photos. A quick note before we begin, we will be talking about mental health, including depression and moments of deep distress. If that's tender for you right now, please take care of yourself. Pause, come back later, or skip this one. We'll share resources during the episode.
Thank you for naming that. I think so many people need permission to step away when something hits close to home.
Absolutely. I'm grateful you're here. Joining me is Dr. Maya Chen, a clinical psychologist and researcher who specializes in mood and anxiety disorders, and someone who does a lot of work demystifying what it means to look fine while feeling anything but. Maya, welcome.
Thank you for having me. This conversation matters.
Let's start right with the title, The Silent Pain Behind a Smile. What does that phrase bring up for you?
It's the image of a person who's really good at the choreography of everyday life, showing up, making jokes, keeping commitments, but inside they're exhausted, lonely, maybe numb, maybe overwhelmed. The smile is real in the sense that they're trying. They genuinely care about others, but it can be a mask. In clinical language, we sometimes talk about high-functioning depression or smiling depression. In real life, it can look like the friend who remembers everyone's birthdays and is also cry driving home from the office because they don't want to worry anyone.
The strong friend who keeps the group text alive but is quietly burning out.
Exactly. And a lot of people like that are praised for being reliable, cheerful, low maintenance. But that praise can become part of the problem. It reinforces the idea that their worth is tied to how well they hide what hurts.
I'm thinking about the ways we learn to hide. Some people mask for safety, some because they don't have the language, some because the world rewards the mask.
And some because they don't want to risk losing what holds their life together. Jobs, relationships, a reputation for being together. In therapy, I hear, if I show how I'm truly doing, I'm afraid I'll fall apart and won't be able to pull myself back. That's a real fear.
In your practice, what are some everyday snapshots of silent pain that people might recognize in themselves or someone they love?
Let me paint a few composite pictures. These are not identifiable clairvoyants, but themes. One, the high-achieving professional who was always on. They're in back-to-back meetings, hitting targets, making time for others. But their nights are restless. They scroll until 2 a.m. to numb the buzz in their chest. They start each morning already depleted. Two, the parent who's careful to keep routines steady for their kids but has lost interest in the things that used to bring joy. Cooking, music, friendships. They feel guilty they're not enjoying every moment. Three, the college student who laughs with their roommate, posts fun stories, keeps grades up, but is quietly keeping a tally of how many days that can go without telling anyone they wake up with dread.
I can feel that in my body as you talk, the dread that doesn't match the outside picture.
And sometimes there's a narrative like, I don't have a right to feel this way. Other people have it worse. That comparison can become another layer of silence.
If someone listening recognizes themselves in those snapshots, I want to say you're not broken for feeling this way, and it's okay to need support. Maya, I'm curious how culture and family shape this smile, too.
Culture is huge. In many families, including my own, we're taught that love is doing, not feeling. You show up, you work hard, you don't burden others. That can be beautiful. It can also make it hard to say, I'm not okay. In some communities, there's deep stigma around mental health care. In others, there's the pressure of surviving. Immigrant families, for example, where your parents had to be unbreakable. It can feel disloyal to struggle when your ancestors endured so much. Gender norms matter too. Men often learn that vulnerability equals weakness. Women are socialized to be caregivers first. Non-binary and trans folks navigate all that, plus the stress of being misread or unsafe. These forces teach the smile.
I want to ground this in your experience. I know you've shared carefully about your own seasons of silent pain. Only share what feels comfortable. Are you okay talking about that?
I am. Thank you for asking. I've had periods, especially early in my career, when I looked very put together. Perfect calendar, attentive therapist. I was winning awards. But I would get home and sit in the shower because it felt like the only place the noise would quiet. There were days where my smile was a strategy. If I make you laugh, we don't have to ask how I'm doing.
Thank you for trusting us with that. Are you okay right now as you talk about it?
I am. I have good support and tools now. But back then, I didn't tell anyone for a long time because I thought, I'm the helper. I don't get to be the one falling apart. That belief kept me isolated, and isolation is fertilizer for pain.
It is, and I want to speak to listeners for a second. If as you hear this, you notice your chest tightening or you're thinking, that's me, take a breath with us. You're not alone. You don't have to carry it by yourself.
That reminder matters, and there's something else that's important. Sometimes silent pain includes dark thoughts, like not wanting to wake up or imagining disappearing. That can be terrifying to admit. If anyone listening is in that place, you deserve support right now. You're not a burden for needing care.
I want to give a few practical resources. If you're in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, 24/7, free, confidential. If you're outside the U.S., visit findahelpline.com to find local numbers in your country. And if you feel like you might imminently harm yourself, please call your local emergency number or go to the nearest emergency room. If you can, let someone you trust know where you are.
Yes, and even if it feels like it's not that bad, you still deserve support. You don't have to wait until it's a crisis.
I want to talk about how we notice the silent part. What are some signs, besides the obvious smile, that signals someone might be carrying more than they're saying?
Some are subtle, changes in sleep, trouble falling asleep or sleeping way more than before, changes in appetite, small withdrawals like canceling plans more often or staying but seeming far away, increased irritability, which we don't always associate with depression, getting busier in a frantic way, overcommitting to avoid being alone with feelings, using humor to deflect from anything vulnerable, mentions of hopelessness disguised as jokes, like if I disappeared, would anyone notice? Which we should take seriously. And there's the quality of the smile itself. It can be tight, a bit delayed, like they're playing a familiar role.
That lands. And on the flip side, sometimes a smile is a beautiful coping skill. It's not always a mask. How do we approach someone without assuming or prying?
Curiosity with consent. Try, hey, I'm not sure if this will land, but you've seemed a little different lately. Less engaged, a bit more tired. How are you really? If you don't want to talk, that's okay. I care. The key is to be specific about what you're noticing and to give them an out. Avoid trying to fix it in the first sentence. And if they do open up, ask questions like, what's been hardest? Or what would feel supportive right now? Also, follow up. One caring text after a hard conversation is nice. A week later is gold.
I love curiosity with consent. I'm also thinking about the phrases we sometimes lean on that can shut someone down. At least you have a job, or just be positive, or you're strong, you'll get through it.
Yes, those are meant to help, but they can imply your pain is unacceptable. More helpful alternatives? That sounds really heavy. I'm glad you told me. You don't have to be strong with me. It makes sense you feel that way. I'm here. And sometimes, do you want advice, distraction, or just someone to sit with you?
That menu question is so grounding. Let's flip to the person who's smiling but hurting. If someone listening is thinking, okay, that's me, what do I do? What are a few first steps they can take today?
Here are some gentle, doable steps. Name it. Write down a sentence like, I'm carrying more than I am showing. Having the words matters. Tell one safe person. You can keep it simple. Hey, I've been struggling more than I let on. Could we talk this week? If texting feels easier, text. Schedule a check-in with yourself. Set a 10-minute timer and write whatever comes up. End with one compassionate sentence to yourself, like you would to a friend. Move your body for 5 minutes. Stretch. Step outside. Movement doesn't fix everything, but it nudges the nervous system. Eat and hydrate. These basics don't cure depression, but they prevent a downward spiral. Start a support plan. That might mean looking up a therapist, calling your primary care doctor, or joining a support group. If a phone call is too much, start with an email or portal message. Safety check. Ask yourself directly, am I safe right now? If the answer is no or I don't know, call 988 in the US or go to findahelpline.com for local crisis support.
Thank you for making that concrete. And I want to normalize something. Sometimes the first therapist you find isn't the right fit. It doesn't mean help isn't possible. Keep going.
Absolutely. Fit is a huge predictor of improvement. It's okay to interview therapists. You might say, I'm looking for someone who understands high-functioning depression and masking. Is that part of your approach? Many providers will gladly speak to that.
I also want to talk about social media and the smile. We scroll through highlight reels. How does that affect silent pain?
Social media can create a sense that everyone else is doing fine, so your smile becomes a costume to keep up. If you notice you feel worse after scrolling, consider curating your feed. Mute accounts that trigger comparison, and add accounts that normalize mental health and show real, messy humanity. And set boundaries, maybe no scrolling in bed, or use app timers. The goal isn't to abolish joy online, it's to stop weaponizing it against yourself.
There's also the performative vulnerability thing. Sharing a lot online can look like openness, but sometimes it's another mask.
Yes, sharing online can be empowering and create connection, but it doesn't always equal having support in your immediate life. Ask yourself, if I stopped posting for a month, who would know how I'm doing? If the answer is no one, that's a cue to build offline support.
Let's bring the workplace into this. Many people keep the smile on at work because they fear stigma or consequences. Any thoughts on navigating that?
It depends on the culture of your workplace and your role. If you have a supportive manager, you could say, I'm going through a difficult period and I may need to adjust timelines or work from home a couple days. I'm committed to the work and I'm also taking steps to take care of my health. If you have an HR department or an employee assistance program, use it. They exist for this. You can also use mental health days without over-explaining. Start by giving yourself permission to be a person at work. And leaders, if you model taking care of yourselves, your team will feel safer to do the same.
For folks in communities where mental health talk is new or stigmatized, what are entry points that don't set off alarm bells?
Try phrasing it around stress or sleep, which many people relate to. My stress has been high and my sleep is off. I'm going to talk to someone. Or, I'm working on my health, body and mind. If a family member questions therapy, you might say, it helps me think more clearly about the things you and I already talk about. Sometimes easing in helps, and sometimes we need to find chosen family, friends, mentors, peers who get it.
Can we talk about toxic positivity? It's such a buzzword, but I think it's at the heart of why the smile gets rigid.
Toxic positivity is the pressure to be upbeat at all times, even when life is legitimately hard. It cancels curiosity about pain. It doesn't mean optimism is bad. Hope is essential, but timing matters. If someone is grieving, look on the bright side is a wall. The antidote is both and thinking. This is hard, and I believe in your capacity. Or, I don't need you to be okay for me to stay with you.
There's a practice you sometimes teach called micro-honesty. Can you share that?
Micro-honesty is offering a small, true snippet instead of a full mask. If someone asks, how are you? And you normally say, good, you might try, I'm hanging in there. It's been a long week. It's not a confessional. It's a crack in the mask. Often someone will meet you there. And if you don't have the energy to talk, you can say, I don't have words right now, but thanks for asking.
What about humor? A lot of people cope with humor, dark humor especially. When is that helpful and when is that a flag?
Humor can be a beautiful pressure valve. It builds connection, eases shame. But if the jokes are the only way hard feelings come out, or if the jokes are about self-harm or disappearing, pay attention. It might be the safest way someone has to say, I'm not okay. You could respond with both, laugh if it's funny, and then say, I know we're joking, but I also care about you. How are you really?
I want to revisit something you said earlier about isolation. The smile can be a ticket to isolation because if everyone thinks you're fine, no one checks in. How do we ask for care without feeling like we're imposing? Try specifics.
People want to help and often don't know how. You can say, "Could you walk with me this weekend?" Or, "Can I send you a voice note when my brain feels loud?" Or, "Can you text me tomorrow morning to help me get out of bed?" When the ask is concrete, it's easier for people to say yes. Also, create a care crew. 3 to 5 people you can rotate asks with, so no one person holds it all.
For the friends listening who want to be that care crew, what are healthy boundaries?
Be clear about what you can offer. I can check in twice a week and go on walks. I can't do late night calls, but I'll help you find someone who can. It's okay to say no. Caring sustainably is the point. And remember, you can support someone and still encourage professional help. It's not either or.
I'm curious about the nervous system piece. You mentioned the buzz in the chest. When someone is smiling on the outside, their body might be in fight, flight, or freeze inside. What can we do in the moment to soothe that?
Simple sensory things help. Box breathing, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, can bring the volume down. Cold water on your wrists or a splash on your face can cue a reset. Grounding with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 practice. Name 5 things you see, 4 you feel, 3 you hear, 2 you smell, 1 you taste. Also, touch. Pressing your hand to your chest and saying, "I'm here." None of these replace therapy. They give your body a cue that you're safe enough to feel.
You said something once that stuck with me. Pain needs a witness. The smile often prevents pain from finding a witness.
Yes, pain metabolizes in the presence of safe connection. Think of it like this. If you break your ankle and keep walking on it, you can maybe get through the day, but there's a cost later. If someone notices and offers an arm, your body can start to heal. Emotional pain is similar. The witness doesn't have to fix anything. They help you carry. Let's talk about what helped you move from mask to more honest living. What shifted? A few things. One was a colleague who gently confronted me. She said, "I love your jokes, and I also notice you deflect when I ask how you are. I can hold hard things with you." That invitation disarmed me. Another was my own therapist naming that my perfectionism and caretaking were brilliant strategies that had now become prisons. We worked on permission to be average sometimes. I built rhythms, walks with a friend, Sunday night check-ins with myself, blocking time off my calendar just to feel. Medication was part of my story too for a season. Saying yes to that felt like saying yes to being human. Thank you for naming medication. There's still so much shame around it. There is. For some people, medication is a bridge that makes therapy and daily life possible. For others, it's not needed. The point is care, not purity. Would you be willing to share a moment where you chose micro-honesty instead of the smile? Sure. There was a day I walked into a meeting and someone said, "How are you?" And I said, "Honestly, I'm tender today. I can still do this, but I might be slower." The mood of the room softened after someone pulled me aside and said, "Thank you. I've been doing the smile for months." It created permission, and it didn't derail the work. We were actually more focused. That's such a myth we carry, that honesty will make us less effective, when often it makes us more human, and that helps work get done. Exactly. The smile isn't the enemy. The silence is.
I want to circle back to safety. If someone listening is thinking, "I've had thoughts of not wanting to be here," I want to say plainly, I'm really glad you're here. You are not alone. It's okay to reach for help. And again, if you're in the US, you can call or text 988 anytime. If you're elsewhere, findahelpline.com will show you local numbers. If you're in immediate danger, call your local emergency number. If that feels scary, consider texting a friend. I'm not safe to be alone. Can you stay on the line while I call for help?
That script is powerful. And if calling is hard, many helplines have chat options. You can type instead of talk. You can say, I don't know how to start. They will guide you.
For persons who love someone with silent pain and are scared, maybe they just heard something big, what do they do tonight? First, breathe. Then reflect back what you heard. Thank you for telling me. That must have been hard. Ask directly, but gently, are you thinking about hurting yourself? Asking does not put the idea in their head. It can be a relief. If they say yes, ask, do you have a plan? If yes, don't leave them alone. Call your local crisis line together or seek emergency care. If no, you can help them make a safety plan. List reasons to stay, people to call, and steps to take when the wave hits. Remove access to means if possible, and follow up tomorrow. Don't overpromise. You're not their therapist. You are their person.
That clarity matters. Before we close, I'm thinking about hope. Not fluffy hope, real, anchored hope. Where do you find it?
In small proofs. A text that says, I'm thinking of you. The shift from I'm fine to I'm here and I'm hurting. The way someone laughs for the first time in months and surprises themselves. The morning you wake up and the dread is a notch lower. Also in community. Support groups, group therapy, faith communities, book clubs, running clubs, places where you're known. Hope is rarely fireworks. It's a steady hand. It's the decision to tell the truth in a tiny way today.
I'm holding that. If someone wants to take one action after this episode, just one, what would you say?
Text one person, I'm carrying more than I've been showing. Could we talk sometime this week? Press send. Then put something nourishing in your body. That's two, but they go together.
I'll allow it. Is there anything we didn't touch that you wish we had?
Just a reminder to the strong ones. Your strength isn't the mask. Your strength is your tenderness, your capacity to feel and still show up in ways that honor you. You don't have to earn rest. And if your smile is tired, you can set it down. The people who deserve you will stay.
I couldn't agree more. Maya, thank you. This conversation felt like a deep exhale.
Thank you for making space for it.
Friends listening, take care of yourselves as you step back into your day. If you need support, remember, in the U.S., call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Outside the U.S., visit findahelpline.com for resources in your country. If you're in immediate danger, call your local emergency number or go to the nearest emergency department. You matter more than you know. We'll see you next time.